in there, son. Newcastle United are the League Cup champions. Get in! Oh, fucking hell, this feels good. This feels real good. I'm in shock. I genuinely keep thinking, did that really happen? But it did. And I'm just, wow. Wow, I'm so happy, guys. I'm really happy. There's been a lot of emotions in the last 24 hours. Like, Jesus Christ. I'd always wondered what it would be like to see black and white ribbons on one of those big trophies, you know what I mean? And I'd only ever seen it before in FIFA games. Just to see it. To see the League Cup with our ribbons on, it was emotional. I was crying. I was absolutely in bits. I was just like, this is what it's all came down to. 70 years since Newcastle last won a domestic cup, and here we are. I'm lucky enough to be one of the few to see this moment that fans have waited a lifetime for and never gotten, and here we are, we're here. Unbelievable. This was the last time Newcastle won a domestic trophy 70 years ago. God bless these lads. The last boys to do it, and we've done it again. Look at that, man. Look at that. The lads with all the medals, black and white everywhere, and black and white on that bloody trophy. I love it. And not just 70 years. It's been 10 years since we even beat Liverpool. That's how much the odds were stacked against us. And I was the type of person where I was like, we're going to lose. We're going to lose. Just accept it. Don't get your hopes up, because I can't fucking take it anymore. We were 12 points clear at the top of the league. We've been to Wembley 3 times in my lifetime before this happened and never even scored a goal. I just thought, we're just not that kind of club. We don't win anything. We're a great club, but we're just not that kind of club. Well, you know what? I was wrong. We are that kind of club. And I always wanted to believe. But it was just so heartbreaking every time we lost that. I just didn't want to get my hopes up too much. And Liverpool, the best team in the league by a mile this season. We had no right to expect the win, but it was our time. It was our time. And this is why you get into football. You know what I mean? These moments. And the sweetness of waiting so long for it, right? I've waited 30 years. I've supported Newcastle for 30 years. I've been wearing those Ginola 14 on my shirt back then. Then I had Shearer for years. And then you grow up and you think, it's just, we've had so many great players, so many opportunities. This is never going to happen. And I can't believe we've done it. And when the final whistle went, my first thought, unintentionally, was of my first ever football match at St James's Park, Newcastle United versus Charlton in the FA Cup, I think it was. We've all heard Bobby Robson talk about when you fall in love with a football club, when you first see your team play, and that it just stays in there, doesn't it? And it was a special one for me because my mum took me to that game, and my mum isn't here anymore. And my mum wasn't a big football fan, but that lady queued up for hours to get me football tickets for my birthday. It was a trademark Alan Shearer moment where he scores an amazing goal and I'm jumping up and down with my mum in each other's arms. Those moments stay with you, and that it was almost like I was back there with her. It was so real in that moment, and because that was when this all started for me, really. To be in this position now, to see the journey sort of completed. For me, this is it. This is all I need. If we never win a trophy again in my life, fair, I got what I wanted. I got my moment. I got to see the lads in the black and white lift that trophy at Wembley with those black and white ribbons on. It was beautiful. And I can die a happy man now. Like, this is all I've ever wanted. This is it. Some people might say, oh, the League Cup, it's not the biggest. I don't give a shit. We got it. We did it. I bet I'm not the only one who thought of their loved ones who they've shared football moments with at full time. I know Eddie Howe mentioned about missing his mother and thinking of all the things that she did for him. And even this football channel was started out of a friend of mine who'd passed away, George, who I went to his funeral. It was all about Newcastle United and how much he loved Newcastle. And it was when one of the players said something against the fans right after his funeral that you've got no fucking right to criticise the fans. It's people like him that this day feels about for me. And I'm so happy for this fan base. I've got to say big love to the Geordies. The last 20 odd years have been very character building, shall we say. It's been rough at times. We've had to stick through this with this lot through thick and thin and thinner at times, and it's just made it so sweet, man. I mean, that Mike Ashley era was bad, wasn't it? Fucking hell. I bet you he is gutted at what this club is becoming without him holding it back. I mean, just look at that. Just look at it. Get in there, boys. Yes. Honestly, I could watch this 1,000 times. A lovely touch of Bruno Guimaraes, the captain, to share the trophy lift with Kieran Trippier. And then they also invited the long-term captain. There's Jamal Lascelles got in on it. Big Dan Bourne, the hero. Oh, God, man. You love it. You love to see it. Look at this video of the fans, man. I mean, Jesus, they were absolutely top class. And I've got respect for the Liverpool fans. They're a great fan base, right? The top football club. But I thought our fans were a credit to us, and they really showed they are the number one fan base in the Premier League, in stadiums. There's no one can fuck with us, in my opinion. We are the best, and I'm really proud of them. I think Gary Neville said that he'd never heard Wembley shake before until Newcastle scored at Wembley. Things just don't come easy to Newcastle people, right? We have to fight and claw for any success we get, it feels like. It certainly felt like that for me in my lifetime. And I really feel like the lads embodied that Geordie spirit on the pitch, because we wanted it so much more. That was what it was. And it meant everything to those players. And I'll be forever grateful to them. And we didn't fluke it. You know, it was a dominant, physical, impressive performance. And we really deserved it against a top team. And I'm going to go into everyone. I'm going to give them all credit. I want to start with Eddie Howe. Get in there. Good on, son. A lovely moment for Eddie to say, because he's always so proper and he always says the right thing and he's always so calm and measured. So it's nice to see him just enjoy himself and go wild with the boys. And what he's contributed to Newcastle United as a manager, he's now put himself right up there with any manager we've ever had, and possibly above. To be honest with you, he saved us from relegation when we were 19th when he took us over, right? People were like, we're never beating this relegation scrap, ever. No one believed we were going to do it. He did. Not only did he save us, he then took us into the Champions League in a season where we only lost 4 games, which was the equivalent to what Man City lost that season. We were so hard to beat. He transformed us. And people will say he spent money, but like, bloody hell, he didn't spend as much as what you've seen Man United and Chelsea spending lately. And it was on a squad that was literally championship ready. We were not going to stay up. So I don't know if people will ever give him the level of respect he deserves for that. And now he's led Newcastle to the first domestic trophy in 70 years. And he's the first English manager to win anything, you know, in the country in since 2008. He's a special manager. And don't get me wrong, it's not been all plain sailing. And there was the fact that he's done it this season, when earlier this season it looked so bad at times. I think it's a testament to his character, because I was worried. I was saying, fuck me, if this keeps going the way it's going, he's going to end up getting the sack here. And yet he still managed to show that resilience, that dogged determination that all of his sides show. He's put himself in the history books, and it couldn't happen to a nicer bloke. Like, that's one of the main reasons I never wanted him sacked the whole time. Whenever it got bad, is I was hoping he'd pull it together, because he's just such a good man. And you can tell the way he carries himself. We've had a lot of mixed characters in the last fucking 20, 30 years. None of them have carried themselves better than Eddie Howe. And he's done it all while having his hands tied by the Premier League, not allowing him to spend as much money as what we should be able to spend if the rules weren't brought in to stop us. And he's not just showing his resilience, he's also showing intelligence, in the sense that after the game, he said, we deliberately played Liverpool in a totally different way than what we were going to play them in the final a few weeks ago, because we didn't want to show our hand. Brilliant. I've not heard a manager say that before. Maybe they have done. I'm sure they've probably done it, but that shows he's thinking 10 steps ahead. And I think on a man management level, he got this so spot on, in that the last final we played, we actually were the better side and we should have won that. But emotionally, we let it get the better of us. We played the occasion and not the game. In this game, it felt like the lads had their emotions under control. Yeah, we were fired up. I remember someone saying Bruno Guimaraes looked like a man possessed in the tunnel before he went out, and I was like, this is either going to go really good or really bad. It was perfect. And even down to the fine details of making sure they got a hotel away from Wembley so that they weren't caught up in the hype. You want to save your emotion and energy for the big moment. You don't want to be like last time. It was just absolutely mental. We were just happy to be there. And that translated to the players. And I think there was a lot of pressure on them, but not in the good way. It was too much for them to handle. This time, their heads were perfect. And tactically, as Eddie often has done in a lot of big games, to be fair to him, he got it perfect. It's actually the smaller games where I feel like Newcastle's players aren't focused enough, where we do fall down. But in big games, Eddie has shown he can live with any manager in world football. We beat PSG 4-1. We marked Mbappe out of the game. It wasn't even hard. And we did the same thing to Mo Salah. We starved him of service. He has never had a less impactful game since he put on that red shirt. We've seen more of Alan Shearer in the stands cheering than we did of Mo Salah on the pitch. That's how out of the game we had him. And bearing in mind, he was running down our left side, which had been hammered by an injury to our main left back in Lewis Hall, and we had Anthony Gordon sent off in a couple of games ago. So he was out of the game. So I'm like, this is going to be our weakest area. It was so strong. We slid Dan Burn over to cover and let Livramento bomb on to exploit one of their weaknesses, ironically, which is Trent Alexander-Arnold not playing. And we got a lot of joy. And Livramento, who I have been sort of critical of with the ball before, never defensively. I've always rated him defensively. He was allowed to bomb on and create problems, and that was where the second goal came from. And it wasn't just tactics from open play, it was tactics on set pieces as well. The fact that we dragged Dan Burn away from those giant centre-backs in Virgil van Dijk that they've got and allowed him to get a run-up against one of the shortest players they've got. It was such smart football, man, and I've got to give them credit for working on that. And if we were going to beat Liverpool, one of the main keys for Eddie was to make sure that we stopped them playing through our midfield, because they do that so well. And we absolutely won that midfield battle. We played like fucking warriors. And on our day, we have one of the best midfields in the country, without a doubt. But look, I want to go through some of the individuals and highlight how good their games were. And I've got to start with Big Dan Bourne. Fucking hell, what a game. This is him celebrating the lad from Blythe. He's Geordie, born and bred. Scores a header that Alan Shearer would have been proud of. After just getting an England call-up, what a week he's having. I'm delighted for him. I've not seen a better defensive performance from a Newcastle player in my life. That's how good it was. He looked like a prime John Terry, for fuck's sake. It's nice watching a footballer who has had to come up the hard way, right? We've seen players like Jamie Vardy have similar, careers where when they reach the top, a lot of people underestimate them and they've got to really overly prove themselves. And Dan Burn has really proved himself in a black and white shirt. What a monster he was in that game, and credit to him and Shaw. I've made my comments about Shaw. I think he's coming to the end, but he was flawless in that game. He rolled back the years. This is people saying we spent money. Dan Burn was like 10 million. I don't even think we paid 5 million for Fabian Shaw. And they were defending against one of the best equipped attacks in world football, not just on the pitch, but off the bench. It's ridiculous how much talent Liverpool have at their disposal. We paid 15 million for those two, if that. That's called value for money, that. And Eddie doesn't get enough credit for it. Tino Livramento comes in for Lewis Hall, right? Right, mate. You're starting left back against possibly the Ballon d'Or winner. No, this is not your normal position. Do your best, kid. Wow. It was like a prime Kyle Walker performance is the credit I can give. I think Kyle Walker back in the day was some fullback, right? It was one of those performances where you're like, you can just do everything. You are fucking class. And if he can maintain those levels, you look at Lewis Hall and Tino Livramento and you think we might have England's fullbacks for the next fucking 5-10 years. And I do feel sorry for Lewis Hall for missing out on that final, because he would have done us proud as well. I'm absolutely sure of it. And one of the players I'm most happy for, without doubt, is Kieran Trippier. He was the first player Newcastle signed when the takeover happened. I had him on my podcast. I got to know him quite well. A really great lad. What you want a footballer to be, yeah? Because you know how there's these arrogant big-time Charlies. They're just fucking lazy. Everything's handed to them. He's just the opposite of that. He is the nicest, most down-to-earth, hardest worker, takes the job seriously. Really, he gives a fuck. And if it wasn't for him starting this revolution, we might not be here today. And I'll tell you now, he might not be the biggest lad or whatever, but he's got that leadership in there. He's got those captain qualities. You're seeing in the game how composed he was, and all of those years of hard work in his career showed on that pitch. He won La Liga under Simeone at Atletico. He's a winner, and he knew how to behave in the eye of the storm. And for me, he's one of the most important players Newcastle have signed, without a shadow of a doubt. You need standard bearers in a dressing room to let everyone know this is what we are. The bare minimum is this is what we're fucking doing here. And he is one of those people who will set the standard. And he's a legend. And I'm really glad he and Bruno lifted the trophy together, because they both deserved that moment together. Speaking of Bruno, let's listen to what he had to say as the final whistle went.
Every 3 years. It's a lot for these guys. They deserve everything. When I first came here, I said, I want to put my name in the club's history. And that's it. After 7 years,
fucking love this kid. Bruno is like our secret ingredient in this football club. Like the passion he's got, you just don't see many footballers with that level of like emotion, and it just seeps out of him, right? And you could see the tears, the happiness when he mentioned the fact 70 years these fans, he really cares. When he's on his game, I mean, he's one of the best players in the fucking league. That is how good he can be. But as fans, having someone who really gets it, it does make a difference. It really does. I think his ball winning is up there with one of the best in Europe, but he is, again, another character that you don't win things without those kind of people. You don't. I know, because we've not had them for many, many years. And Bruno can do everything. He made a little mistake towards the end, but we'll forgive him for that because he gave the ball away when they fucking scored, sent me into a fucking cardiac arrest. If there's anyone I can forgive, it's that beautiful man, because the tears in his eyes, you know what it means. And he gives everything for us. He really does. He gives everything for us. He runs himself into the ground. And the same can be said for Tonali. He also, what a performance from him. Again, one of the best midfielders, in my opinion, in the Premier League, Tonali. I love this picture of Tonali, because we all love a success story, but especially Geordie's, I think we love a comeback story. And this man is living proof that you can go through shit, you can come back, and you can come back better than ever. And he was ridiculed, he was written off, he was mocked. But look at him now with that trophy, with all the fans behind him. It must be fucking sweet for him and good on him. And there was this clip of Virgil van Dijk wrestling with Tonali to get the ball at the end of the game, and Tonali just bounces Virgil van Dijk off him. I'm like, you've got everything, you mate. You have got everything. And the best compliment I think I could give our midfield is, yeah, they can play in the modern game, they can play the fancy football at times, but you know what? This lot, they could play in the 90s because they've got metal. And no one has got more metal than big fucking Joelinton, right? That guy. Dan Burn got man of the match, and I'd never ever complain because he was absolutely perfect and he scored a goal. But Joelinton was as good as any midfielder performance I've ever seen in a Newcastle shirt. Let's take a quick look at his interview after the game.
To win for this club make me feel real proud. It's an honor for me to give something back to them. They are unbelievable fans. They support us in every moment, even in difficult moments. Like I said, I'm here more 6 years. I had bad times, difficult times, but I never give up.
And when you think about his journey, a striker who people were like, is this guy a striker? What's going on here? And Eddie Howe comes in and goes, you're a box-to-box action-packed midfielder, mate. And boom, he unleashes him, he unlocks him. And in that game, he was an absolute fucking monster of a performance from Joelinton. And we didn't have Joelinton in the last game that we played Liverpool. Big miss. We didn't have Isak either. But Joelinton, the best compliment I can pay Joelinton is he sets the fucking tone for everything Newcastle United do. In the first 5 minutes of a game, you kind of know, right, if Newcastle are on it or we're not on it. And it's one of the most frustrating things about this club at times. But one of the key indicators that we are on it, always, is Joelinton is clattering into people, letting them fucking know who the fuck's here. We're the fucking big boys. We're going to smash the shit out of you. He's fucking amazing. He's the hardest player in the league, right? He's fucking mint, and he's got so much energy, and he runs and he runs, and the amount of interceptions. He hunted that ball down like a fucking lion hunting its prey in the jungle in that game. He was an animal. And he wasn't an out of control animal like he can be sometimes. He was so measured. And again, that comes back to the state of mind that Eddie had these players in. Now, one player who's always measured, it's this guy. Alexander Isak, with the coldest striking in world football. Look at that celebration, man. He's letting everyone know, I'm the fucking boy, man. You trying to mock me? Do you know who the fuck I am? He's got just the right amount of arrogance, you know, Isak. As a striker, you need to be like, give me the fucking ball. I'm the man. I know what I'm doing. Give me the fucking ball. But equally, it's not too much to where you want to dislike him. He's so cool, this guy. I fucking love him. And he is the X factor of Newcastle United. Let's be honest here. His ceiling is insanely high. The guy, I told you all on the kickoff, now what, a couple of years ago, I can't remember how long it's been. I remember that social clip going viral where I said, Alexander Isak is world class. I'd seen him play less than half a season. You fucking know it when you see it. When it's at your club and someone's world class, you know. And I wasn't getting carried away. Yes, it could have been short-term happiness and long-term, failure, but he was too good from too soon on. I knew it. When you've got a player like that, you always know you've got a chance. And I think that really helped our self-belief coming into this game of he's capable of anything, him. We just got to give him the fucking ball. One of my main frustrations is that we don't do that enough. Just give him the ball, lads. Just give him the fucking ball. He will make stuff happen. And he had a quiet game. We weren't doing enough to help him out. And when the ball finally did come to him, it wasn't an easy one. The header down from Murphy was perfect in terms of accuracy, but that ball's flying towards you. You've got to control it. You get one go at it. He made the difficult look easy, as he so often does in football. It really is something to behold, man. We've got a gem. And everyone's been saying, oh, he's going to Arsenal, he's going to... Look, Newcastle have won something a lot more recent than Arsenal now, and we're not that far behind Arsenal. If we invest, if we're allowed to invest for the fucking corrupt Premier League, honestly, I don't ever begrudge a player who isn't born in Newcastle moving at one point or another, right? But I hope he sees what we've done that day, and I hope he can feel how appreciated he is, and know that there isn't an obvious king of the future of the Premier League. Mo Salah's getting older. Arsenal are very, a funny club. Give it a couple of more years. Then go to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona. Go to one of the biggest clubs in the world. Win everything. But I think there's a real chance with Alexander Isak and with a bit more investment, this club is capable of doing more of this. And whenever you move club, nothing's ever a guarantee. And credit also to the lads that I haven't gone in depth on, in Jacob Murphy, who always gives everything for the club, no matter what his passing is like at times. He's always given everything. Harvey Barnes came in for Anthony Gordon. I think he didn't put much of a foot wrong. He really gave a good account of himself, and I'm happy because it has been hard for him. Nick Pope as well, when called upon, made a very good save. I was a bit worried. I kind of thought Dubravka probably should have started, but he did. We're proud. And watching the lads here, you know what I'm so happy about is that we've got a really likeable bunch of players. Like, over the years, you know what it's like, right? Whoever you support, there's times where you think, fucking hell, I hate these arseholes. Do you know what I mean? But with this lot, they're a really likeable bunch of lads, and they've made history. They've done something so special, and I'm really happy for them, including, the players who are on the bench. Callum Wilson came on. He's one of the best Premier League goal scorers for Newcastle. People like Lewis Miley, who didn't get a chance to come on but have contributed a lot and will contribute a lot more in the future. Sean Longstaff, I've made my criticisms of him. I'm happy for him to get this moment. He's a Geordie lad. How could I ever begrudge it for him? I'm just delighted for them, man. We've got to say a big well done to the chairman as well. This is our chairman, Yasser Al-Ramayan, who actually said this is number one and there's more to come when lifting up the trophy. And let's not kid ourselves. I give credit to the management, the players, but without the Saudi owners coming in, this football club would never have done this. I'm very, very grateful to them. I've spent a lot of time in Saudi. I love going there, love the people, and I'm just so grateful to them for what they've done for this football club, because without them, I never would have seen this. I would never have seen Isak versus Fury either, to be fair. So I'm very grateful. It's honestly, they've been transformative for my sporting life for sure. And if we ever win a title, it'll be in large part because of Saudi. They've got the chance now to build a new stadium, to progress this club into something I never dreamed of, and I really hope they do it. Also, shout out to Amanda Staveley, who played a very pivotal role in changing the ownership from that horrible bastard Mike Ashley and bringing us these great new owners, and just caring. She's a good woman, her. She deserves a mention for sure. And back to the coaches and the players. I actually made a video a couple of weeks ago where I was worried about this game. I was thinking, we're going to blow a big chance. We're going down like that. Liverpool are like that. We need to turn ourselves around here and actually give ourselves a slap. When I do these kind of rant videos, it's because I genuinely give a shit, and my weekend can be really good or really bad depending on what Newcastle do. I've just got to give them all credit that they turned it around just at the perfect moment, and they really did everything I wanted from them. And they all showed just what they're capable of. And I hope that they can watch this back and realise, we are capable of great things. Because sometimes when you do watch them in games where they don't turn up, and the reason I lose my mind is because I'm like, do you know how good yous are? It's not because I think yous are shit. It's because I think yous can be fucking amazing. I've watched you smash PSG, now beat Liverpool, do Arsenal back-to-back legs in the semi-finals. On the way to this final, we beat Chelsea, Forest, Arsenal twice, and Liverpool. That's the entire top four. It wasn't an easy run, and look at what we've done. Now, if you can beat anyone on any given day, then why can't you do it more consistently? I know that the squad size and all of that could do with bolstering, and hopefully that'll come. But I just hope the lads have got the bit between their teeth, and that this taste of success, it's got them even more hungry for more. Because I know I feel that way. And as much as I really, really appreciate, I've had so many messages from all football fans, and I love yous all, I appreciate it. I hope yous aren't as happy for us in future because it keeps happening a lot. I appreciate this, the feelings now. I hope you get sick of it because I want more. Don't get me wrong. If this is the only time, I'll die a happy man. But it would be lovely to see us go and build on this now. And I really believe we can. And I also want to mention the people who helped build Newcastle to be where they are today so that this moment can happen, because all of the players who've turned up for us and really tried in the past, the managers who've really put into this club have contributed to putting us where we are now, but especially people like Alan Shearer. If Alan Shearer hadn't have scored all those goals, Newcastle would never have become the club that could even attract some of these players we've got now. If Sir Bobby Robson had never taken us in to Europe, Newcastle would not even be known to some of the players that we've got now. It all helped. People like Gary Speed, Alan Pardew, no. I'm joking, Alan Pardew. Imagine all those rant videos I did back in the day about him, and now here we are, fair fucks. I've seen him on the radio actually saying some really nice things. So yeah, the beef's over now, Pods. You're all right, mate. It took a gut win, but we're cool. Okay. So yeah, shout out to Big Al, Sir Bobby, and all the other legends that helped build this club into what it is today. And it's so funny how football can sometimes mirror your life, and I'm sure a lot of Newcastle fans are feeling this way right now in you know, different ways. But I remember when Newcastle narrowly avoided relegation and Jonas Gutierrez scored that goal against, I think it was West Ham, to save us, and so much was going on in my life at that time, and it just felt like fate. I can honestly say on a personal level, this year has been, the last 12 months have been one of the best years of my life ever. This really just capped it off nicely, and big thanks to Newcastle United, everyone involved at the club. You've made me a very happy man. Big love. And thanks to all the subscribers who followed my journey all the way back to a message to Nile Ranger here, yeah? I never thought we'd be in this position. I never thought I'd make this video, and I'm so glad I have. Big thanks. Big love. I'll see you on the next one.